Few things bothered Claire as much as the looks she got from the neighbors whenever she went outside. They made her feel foreign, alien, like less than a person. She wasn't any different from them, really. Well, okay, she fed on the brains of the living, but otherwise she was perfectly normal like everyone else in the modest community. She slept in a bed in a house on a street. She breathed in air, and like other kids her age, she went to school. The Weeping Willow community was a gated, high-security place. Wealthy people lived there. It was safe. It was secluded from the rest of the world, but no one was upset about that. Wealthy people liked their privacy. And wealthy mortal people did not want the wealthy undead around them. This community was for vampires. There had been quite an influx of them in the town, so the mayor decided to set up a place for them to go where they could live in peace away from the judgmental eyes of normal people. The mayor was always trying to claim that he was not judgmental by making statements like that. The citizens of Weeping Willow had not voted for him. Claire Lamorgue would have easily been able to fit in with the community that was not allowed to fit in with the rest of the world if she hadn't been a pea-green-skinned 13-year-old zombie with zombie parents. As it was, the community set up for societal misfits had its own misfits. Once he was gone from the sitting room, Harry turned to me. Her blue eyes were large and her skin was still a lot more pale than usual, but she seemed more excited than scared now. "Old Man Weatherby is making us sandwiches," she shouted out in a whisper. I smiled at her. "I know, Harry. I was there." She shook her head at me, but she was grinning. "Old Man Weatherby's not right in the head. If you pay him a visit, you'll end up dead," she recited. This was one of the old rhymes that kids would sing while jumping rope or playing hopscotch or doing any number of schoolyard activities. It was usually sung out loudly, but just then it was whispered. "He'll slice you with his kitchen knife and bake you into pie. Stay away from Cadbury Creek or kiss your mom goodbye," I whispered back with the intensity of a conspirator. It did not feel entirely right to be sitting in the old man's very house chanting such insulting things, but it also felt kind of fun to be joining in with Harry on such an old nostalgic thing. It was thrilling to know that rhyme and also know that it was vastly untrue. We had paid him a visit and we were still alive. There were no knives being wielded and the place did not smell like pie. It didn't smell like anything other than mothballs and old furniture. Helena arrived soon after and found me deep into the act of writing down my imaginary observations about our neighbors. She smiled and tisked at me. "Are you writing another of your books that no one in their right mind will ever read?" I smirked at her without looking up. "When was the last time you sang? For money, I mean." She laughed and sat on the sofa beside me. "I hate you." "How was your day in the shop?" "My day was uneventful. Hardly anyone even wants to come into the restaurant because there's a possibility that Goebbels and Hitler could be there. As if they would come all this way to dine at what is possibly the worst restaurant in Poland." I set down my pen and looked at her. "You'd rather they eat the best food? I do not think they deserve that." She rested her head against my shoulder. "Oh, Jules, I don't want anything to change. I know that Kurt says everything will be okay, but Kurt is a liar. He's paid to tell stories. You are honest. You speak what is in your heart. You think things will change, don't you?" So, I did not think I'd be making a Project for Awesome video this year, but then I got inspired when I realized that there is a charity that could actually deserve my attention somewhat. From 2009 to 2011, those were the 3 NaNoWriMo novels that I completed on NaNoWriMo.org. Since then, I have not really focused on finishing novels so much as thinking about ideas throughout the year, but without the inspiration and the drive that NaNoWriMo provided to me, I would not be a full-time ghostwriter now. I'm actually getting paid to write things. The only reason I didn't do NaNoWriMo this year is because I was so busy writing 7 novels for other people that I couldn't actually sit down and worry about a 50,000 word count when I had over 50,000 words to write for all the different stories I was writing for people. But yeah, I'm a full-time writer now. It's still, I have a ways to go before I'm a published author in my own right, but still, I'm getting paid to write. It's, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for NaNoWriMo, because NaNoWriMo got me working and thinking and getting used to deadline pressure, and it's funny because when I'm writing these stories now, I feel like 10,000 words in a week, that's nothing, because I gained that experience through NaNoWriMo. So for this Project for Awesome this year, you should perhaps consider donating to NaNoWriMo.org, the National Novel Writing Month, because every little bit of money goes towards them being able to do more exciting programs and keep the site up and running and keep inspiring more authors to get writing and make sure that they focus for an entire month on getting that novel done.